So when I hear the word fluid, I think about fluidity of movement, and I guess it means that if I'm stuck in the role of being hurt by some accusation that's come to me, that's whether it's right or wrong isn't the point. I need to be able to move out of that hurt role, the victim role, to access more of myself, to access my bigger, self. And so ways to do that are to notice that I'm hurt and name it somehow, maybe neutrally or maybe personally, and know that that's actually not that's my experience, but it's not just me, it's a role. And so I can choose another role. So I might respond to it by saying, Mark, that's sort of true. I don't want to admit that, but I'm learning now. I'm in the role of learner. So being fluid means changing roles. So I've gone from the role of victim to learner. That's one example.
Yeah, for me, the whole notion of that we occupy roles was really useful for us in the dialogue, because we found we kept bringing them into the room. We kept repeatedly talking about the elder, like the elder was going to say this, the elder was going to do that, the elder, and I just got these images of Grant, always just, being the person embodying the elder on their behalf, talking about what the community would do. But the thing I genuinely struggled with the whole notion of roles, because I was like, this sounds a little bit like this is kind of white academic ways of trying to deal with this thing that for us was very concrete. It was very visceral. It was very much, this is our life, community stuff. And then it became very helpful the more I understood that you can actually occupy the role, and when I'm speaking in that place, I'm voicing a role. And then the challenge, the opportunity to say, how could you take up the role that's on the opposite side of that? How could you take up that role? And then from a capability point of view, it meant that we could actually practice that fluidity in the room, and it meant that it enabled us to do the work then, because it was depersonalized. It was no longer you're saying this and you're hurting my feelings. It was like, you're actually voicing a role, and through the voicing of that role, we can then put it there and then ask you to do a different kind of role. So that's how I found the role fluidity really helpful in the process of doing the Lost Conversations work. Yeah.